Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Thanks so much for joining me. So I'm going to make a start on my second in the garden project for this month, but this time I'm going to be using a lot more of the more neutral pages. So I've got a lot of the wood and I've got pages with, this lovely background with all the lavender and everything. I might have one or two pages which are the pretty garden scenes, but I really want the neutrals to do the talking and then have just like the pinks and greens and whatnot just be a hint of it. So yeah, complete contrast from the last project, but I just thought it would be really fun to be able to sort of test the versatility of the kit. So essentially I've divided it into two. We had the bright greens and pinks and blues and purples for that project, and now the more neutral side of things. So for today, what I'd like to start by doing is making some ephemera pieces. So I've just pulled out some trash again. So, I've got clothing tag, random book page pockets that didn't become anything, some bits of card, which I'm going to use to make pockets, journal cards, belly bands, the usual. And then I've got these two, these had pages in which I've taken out. But these are quite a bright green for anything that I do, so I'm going to cover those, and then those are going to be the signatures inside the notebooks inside the project, which we'll do on the next video, but for today I want to get the trash used up. Okay, so I'm going to start with the notebook covers to begin with, only because I've got these sheets and I'm thinking this will give me some scraps in the neutral colours that I can then use. So let me start with these two. So if I remember rightly, this is going to be a really nice height for my notebook. So what I'm going to do is get these covered. So I'm going to have the two lavender pages as the covers on the outside, and then the inside I'm going to use, I'm not so sure yet, but I definitely know I want this for the outside. So I'm just going to get these glued on. As I said, I just want to be able to then have the scraps to use. So I have got my dog in here with me today, so if you hear any grumbling or groaning, he hasn't yet, but I'm sure he will at some point, then ignore him. And it's not my belly, which I have heard from people before. It's not me, it's him. But yeah. So today will be a relatively chilled video. I'm just going to see what I can get done. And hopefully this will give you some ideas of things you can be making, or maybe it will just be helpful to have me on whilst you do something yourself. So I'm going to leave those to dry. So all I'm going to do is cut around them, line the insides, and then I'll just do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch for these, but I'll save that for after because, well, it's not going to be the most interesting thing to watch on video, but at least now I can see how much of a scrap I've got. So I'm going to take those bits off, so put those to one side. There we are. More scraps to play with, always a good thing. Okay, and then I'm going to put, these are potentially the insides, so I am going to take off, I'm just going to take off a scrap piece from these two sheets, so I've got some more to play with, because I'm thinking these would be nice for the insides. So I'm going to put those with that, and now I've got some scraps to play with. So let's bring these in. Okay, so I'm going to start with the scraps first, because I think these will get me quite far. So yeah, I don't have a massive, huge plan for today. I'm just going to see what I can get done. So I think these are going to be sort of belly bands or side tucks, and that sort of will use this up quite nicely, won't it? So let's get some glue on here. So yeah, a bit of a scrap busting session again today. It's actually been really nice to get back to doing, you know, shop your trash and everything for these projects. My last one and this one. It's a goal of mine this year is to, you know, get back to using up the trash and the scraps and all those sorts of things. And then I suppose I may as well use this bit for there. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing, by the way. I've moved my camera, so I'm hoping it's the view is okay, but I will check it in a minute. Just make sure that's inside the border. Just move it over a bit, there we go. So these were just some scrap card, which I don't really use black in my projects, so I thought may as well use them for this. So I'll cut those out in a minute. So I've got this little piece, which I should be able to use one of these smaller scraps. Can you believe it? How well does that fit? So I'm thinking if I do front and back in the wood paper, that will use that whole bit up. I will do some decorating in a minute, just in case you're wondering. I will do something a little bit more interesting than just gluing paper, but you know, sometimes it's nice to get these things done. And I have had some comments in the past, which is around sometimes it's useful for me to do just a video like this that I'm not doing anything specific as such. So it's a good one to have on in the background whilst you get something done yourself, you know. So hopefully you're thinking that. So I'll just cut around this. So this is just a clothing tag, as you might have guessed. I'm wondering if I could take that label off, because I don't know if that will shine through. There we go. So this will just be a little tag to go in a pocket. Nothing fancy. But I've got my fussy cuts on my desk, so I'll start finding some little garden pictures and things. That'll be nice. I think this wood paper is okay for writing on. You know, I think it's light enough that I think somebody could to write on it. If not, then I'll just put a bit of brown paper on the back and have the wood around the edges, which I might do in a minute. As I said, I was wanting to come on and do the video today, and I was sitting there and thinking, oh, I don't really have like a huge plan other than I've got these papers and I've got these things on my desk. Which always makes me a little bit nervous to start filming before I really know what I'm doing, but sometimes that's the best crafting sessions, because you know, you can come up with some really interesting pieces. So I've got these little bits of sticker paper. Of course I keep the scraps because I'm just thinking, whoops, one of those. Goodness me. Butterfingers today. And that will just give a bit of a writing spot on the back, and then you can still see the wood paper. So that'll be fine. Ooh, whoops, sorry if I drugged you then. I don't know what, my hands have a mind of their own today. Okay, right, so I've got that. So let me just see what these are doing. So we've got a bee on that one and something on that one. So again, these, I can do some kind of label on those. I'm just thinking if I'm kind of going mass make style, aren't I, a little bit, where I sort of have in my head to just get everything covered that I want to. So I think I'll do these next. I don't know if this is going to be wide enough. it's not. Just thinking I could have that on there and then do some collaging with either some text where I've got this. That would look nice, wouldn't it? Alternatively, some more of the lavender paper. I do like that as well, but I just think just that bit of colour. Yeah, so this, I'm going to turn this into a pocket. This is just a bit of file folder that got chopped off of the project I'm actually going to be doing, so you'll see that tomorrow, or the next video, which I think will be tomorrow. But anywho, yeah, I'm going to use this to make a pocket, and I'm going to give it a file folder kind of tab edge, which I'll do in a minute. So I'll just get it covered with the paper first. Just try to use up the scraps as best I can, all of them. And then where's the other one? I'm just thinking perhaps I could do the same thing. So I'm going to get this glued on and cut around it, and then we'll do something proper in a minute, so stay tuned. Okay, I've just sat and cut everything out, and then I also just glued some more scraps onto the pieces of card that are going to be journal cards, so I just quickly did that off screen. So let's get back to these file folder pockets. So I'm going to use this scrap. This is just from End Pages of a Book. It's got butterflies on, but it gives the nice neutral tone to it, I think. As I said, these are just backgrounds for us to do more decorating, etc. But I do like mixing neutral with colour as like a torn half and half kind of thing. I like doing that a lot. So I just think it's a super easy way to give an interesting collaged background without having to think too much about what goes where and all the rest of it, because now, you know, we've got a nice space with which to put more on. So let me just move those scraps out of the way. So as I mentioned, these are going to be the file folder pockets. So the way that I'm going to do it is I want to give this a little bit of a tab. So I think if I come along here, so I'm just going to draw a line across, doesn't have to be perfect, and then if I come up like that, and then I'm just going to follow that with my scissors, and that should give me a nice interesting tabbed edge. So let me just follow that line. If I can cut straight. There we go, it doesn't need to be perfect. So now what I'm going to do is round one corner, like so, and then I'm going to round the other corner as well. And then what we've got is just a really simple tab, which I can then, you know, put a number or something. Hopefully you can see that okay. The lighting is not the best today, simply because well, it's awful outside. It is so grey and miserable. So I think I'll try and make the tab on the other side this time, just to change it up a bit. Yeah, that's right. So this time I'm going to draw on the front. It's only because I'm right-handed, so I just find it easier to do it this way. As I said, I don't think I'm drawing a particularly straight line, but that sort of stuff doesn't bother me really. Of course, if you've got a file folder, you could just, sorry, concentrating, you could just trace around a file folder as well. And I do have other videos where I've done this type of a project. Just today I'm being a bit lazy, I can't bother to go and get a file folder, so slap on the wrist for me. I just want to make it a really, really simple project. Yeah, that's fine. And then just round those corners, just gives it a nice finished file folder kind of a look. As I said, just a really easy way to just do something a little bit different. Now, I don't think I will have these together because they're not the same width anyway. But if you were going to do something like that, you could, you know, have the tabs be the same and you could do some kind of like stacked thing with them. But for me, I'm going to have these be in separate places. Not for any reason other than just that is what I'm going to do. So I've got all those pieces, so we will do some decorating in a minute, but I'm trying to do it assembly line style, where if I get all these scraps used up, I think I'll be quite happy with myself. So I've got these 2 book page pockets. So this is just a really simple one, 2 bits of book page folded up, and then at some point I sewed around it. I actually think this is one of the first things that I made. But it says the garden house at the top there, so I thought, why not? And then I've got this one, which is, I think it's 2 book pages, and it gives you kind of like this envelope look. But in my project, I'm going to have it this way, so it opens at the side, and then the whole thing can be a top pocket as well. So, can I use any scraps? Just sort of eyeing up what I want to do here. It would be nice to use that chicken. So could do something like that. And then I'll probably put a ruffle on this book page part, is what I'm thinking. Oh, I've got another bit there. So, what scraps have I got? Is that? No, that's not wide enough. Just wondering if this whole piece would go over and then the chicken would just decorate it. Need a bigger scrap. Oh, there we go. Ask the universe and the universe shall provide, as they say. So, I'm just, as I said, I'm just very much in scrap busting mode at the moment. So, I'm going to grab some kind of ruler so that I don't lose my picture too much. Sorry, my brain will kick into gear at some point. We will get there. That's it. Let's take that bit off. I know I'm not really explaining what I'm doing, but it's just because I'm thinking about what scraps I want as I go, sort of thing. Yeah, as I said, sorry if you can hear noises in the background. I've got my door open because my dog has decided to lay right in the middle of the door frame, so I can't actually shut my door. And I think my husband is busy getting his packages packed up. Sorry, I just went to go and ask my husband, if he could shut his door because it was it was putting me off a bit. As I said, I normally have my door closed, but I can't today. So I've got this chicken piece. There's a sentence I didn't know I was going to hear myself say today. Yeah, I'm thinking that would be fine. As I said, this project, oh, my dog, he's just now right at my feet, which is going to be very annoying. I know I shouldn't complain because I love him to bits. I'd be very sad if he wasn't there, but at the same time, oh. Dogs, animals, pets, children, they always know how to get right under your feet, don't they? But we love them for it. Okay, so I've got that. And then I will, finally some inking. I will just ink this piece. I hope you're getting something out of seeing these pieces come together. I will promise we will do some decorating in a minute. Although technically, I'm just going to say, using scraps is a form of decorating. It's just, I will show you something finished today, I promise. Okay, and then I'm just going to have that just in the middle there. That's it. As I said, it's just the base, and then I'll come in with, you know, words, labels, numbers, butterflies, other bits and bobs. And then this, I don't think I'm going to bother covering the book page, the lid, the flap off the envelope, because as I said, I'm going to do some kind of fabric ruffle down there. I think that would look quite cool. Obviously I've got a little bit of book page showing there, but that sort of stuff doesn't really bother me that much. I'm just trying to decide if I should be covering up this part. Could use this music sheet, and then it's still got the neutral part to it, hasn't it? So I'm just going to do that, and then that will give a little bit of extra protection to that envelope flap as well, I think. So yeah, I'm being a very, very lazy crafter today, as you can probably tell, where I'm just literally whacking the glue on and going from there. But to be honest, sometimes we just need chill crafting sessions like that, don't we? Where it all comes together, but whilst you're doing it, anyone watching you will be thinking, God, what's she doing? She's being a right mess, and no real thought behind what they're doing. But it does all come together in the end, doesn't it? The things we do. So let me just round those corners again. This will just be something that I did in a, I think Tatty Treasure was doing a use up an entire book challenge, and it was just a lot of you know, folding up book pages to make pockets and tags and various things, but it was very useful, especially if, like most of us, you've got a hoard of book pages sitting around. But it was good to get some bases, and then from there, every so often I've just dipped into the stash to get some more things out to decorate. So I do need to go in with finicky gluing, but I'll do that after. And I do need to ink around everything, but I'm on a mission to see these scraps used up. So this is what I'm left with. So I might do some kind of like patchworky thing here. We'll be covering up some of my stitching, but that doesn't bother me because, as I said, this was something I did way back when, and I don't even think my stitching was that that neat. Wasn't that neat? It's only because that writing is upside down is why I'm thinking about using that bit of a scrap. And then I think we could do with bringing in a bit of colour, but I don't have a lot of stuff left, so just tear that in a bit of a higgledy line, and then that can maybe go across there. Just going to move that over so I've got the music notes showing, otherwise it seems a bit of a waste to use the music sheet. Yeah, something like that. As I said, everything looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but it will all come together. Often with scrap busting and stuff, I find it, for me at least, I don't know if everyone is like this, but for me I find it very beneficial to not second guess myself too much and to just simply get the scraps into place and then build it up from there, because otherwise you can spend so long, you know, sort of thinking to yourself, oh, does that go there, should I have that with that, and before you know it you've spent an hour staring at something and you haven't really got anything done. Whereas if you just go for it, it's much more likely that it will come together, in my opinion, at least anyway, in my experience. Not always, but a lot of the time it does really come together. So I was having that here, so go there. Actually, I'll go the whole way across there, otherwise I'll just be left with a piddly little scrap that I wouldn't use for anything. So, like so, there we go. Yeah, I hope that it's very dark in here, but I'm hoping I've got enough lights on. I've got 2 lights on, so hopefully it's enough. So I don't really want to cover up too much of that. Just going to just tear that a bit nicer. Yeah, sorry if I seem quiet today, by the way. As many of us, I'm sure, I'm just going through some stuff at the moment, so I am a bit quieter than usual because, yeah, it's just, you know, for a lot of us, it's been a lot of tough times lately, so I am sorry if I do seem a little bit not myself at the moment. Trust me, I am trying my hardest to just push through and carry on, you know, and you know, I'm very happy to be here, of course. I'm just aware of the fact that I might sort of get stuck in my head a little bit at the moment. So if you are thinking that, then please excuse me, and I'm sure eventually I'll be back to my usual chatty self. I am also concentrating on using up scraps. Oh dear. I think I've done a pretty good job of using the scraps though. Really, really. I think I've definitely done what I could. Okay, as I said, just a base. It will look an absolute mess at the moment, but it will all come together. So I'm just thinking to make it more intentional, what I have done. I'm going to put this coloured scrap up the top here. That's it. And then it looks like everything goes together properly then. I haven't really been inking the scraps because I just kind of want them to blend in together. You can always add glue. You can always add ink later if you find that something needs inking. You can just get in with a brush and go along the edges. But as I mentioned, I just kind of want everything to blend in together at the moment. Alright, we have a base. Okay, I've just cleared up a little bit and thought I would bring my tray over, and I've got some numbers in there, and I might bring out these labels. So when it comes to the decorating, I like to just have things in front of me, and I'll sometimes just go by size. So I like to have, you know, a tray prepared full of things that might potentially work, and then we can just, yeah, figure out what fits and go from there. So I'm going to put the belly bands to one side because I don't know if I'm going to do too much with them, but the other pieces definitely. So there will be a little bit of hunting around in my tray for bits and bobs, but I think, well, I hope you will get you know, a nice bit of inspiration hopefully from what I'm doing. And you know, the thing with decorating and collaging and stuff, you've just got to take your time with it, and you know, figure out what you like and what you want to use, and just, yeah, let what happens happen. I think is the important part. So whilst it might not be the most thrilling process to watch, I do find that it is important to show the process, because you know, you don't want to just think that something is super easy and comes together really quickly just because I've edited a video, you know. Whereas in real life, I might have been staring at something for a long time trying to figure out what would go where and everything. So, but this video is for those of you who like to watch this sort of stuff. So but I do feel like I feel pretty good about sorry, I'm just reaching for my bone folder. Yeah, I feel really good about how much stuff that I've got uncovered today. I feel like that went really quickly because I was just not second guessing myself, and I was just letting the scraps just become whatever, you know. So this is a rub-on. They were sent to me. Thank you, Jean. I think she said they were from Stamperia, but I haven't got any nails, so try to peel it off. Sometimes easier said than done. That's it. But I am really liking the rub-ons because they just blend into whatever you've put them on really nicely. So I've potentially got this butterfly, but I'm not loving that, so I've probably gone off of the idea. So I'm thinking some kind of a label with it would be good. Sorry about that, I just had to shoo my dog out because he was right behind my chair, and it just meant that I couldn't move around or get to anything. So I am going to pop this butterfly down, and this word, I was originally like, you know, umming and ahhing about the butterfly, but it's only a small tag. I just don't think it needs much. And I'm going to have, you know, a tag topper in there. I need to put the hole in, but, you know, I'll do that later. That's quite cute. So yeah, once it's got, you know, a tag topper in it and everything, I think that will look different again. The only thing that I will do is I potentially do a little bit of some kind of like stenciling or something just there and there, because I think it is a little bit plain, but I'll sort that out later. Okay, so with this pocket, of course, I'm going to have some crochet on it. I don't know, because we've got the lavender there, I don't know if it necessarily needs a huge amount on it. So I'm thinking about potentially having a label. I just don't know if that one's a bit big. Let's try a smaller one. I'm just holding the crochet there so I can visualize, you know, just see how I feel about a smaller. I'm just not a fan of plain labels. I really need to print and cut some more labels out at some point. But so I've sort of gone off to one side with that label, which I think potentially is okay. Could go with that instead, but I think I just prefer that one. It is a little bit on the big side, but I think by adding something with it, I think that will be, it will, what's the word? It will have the focus be less on the label on its own, is what I'm thinking. I would like a brown butterfly, but I don't know if I've got one. Oh, I've got this purple one, which is a bit more muted than the one I had before, so I'll try that to start with. But I just feel like I need something up here. I don't know why I thought another label would be the thing that I want, because it certainly isn't. Just where I've got that bit of collaging, I feel like, again, I need something that will distract from that, so that it's more in the background. So I'm going to try for a stamp, but I want to find, again, I kind of want to go down the neutral route. So let me just grab my stamps. I'm just going to see if I've got anything in here which is a either purple or muted is what I'm thinking. That's quite nice actually. So probably for the first time ever I've actually gone with the very first stamp that I pulled out. That doesn't usually happen. Usually I have to trial a few before I choose one, but yeah, I'm thinking that's about right. Once we've got something in the pocket, so have I got something just to see how I feel? So as to not cover up that stamp detail, I would probably put the pieces off to one side like that, and then yeah, cute. Oh, I do love working with scraps. You can get, I've lost count how many times I've said it, but you can get such interesting pieces by just, you know, seeing what will go where, and just, yeah, just going for it and trying things out and all of that. It's now I fought so hard to have that chicken. Oh, I feel so awful covering up the chicken, but I quite like that, which again I'm surprised that I've sort of gone and liked the first thing that I've picked up. I promise you that wasn't yeah, I just, this says there are always flowers for those who want to see them, which, you know, as part of the whole project, although having it on there would be quite nice too. Not so much that one, but this one. Okay, I'll keep that there because, yeah, I don't really want to cover up that chicken if I can avoid it. Oh, I don't know why I laugh at the word chicken. I don't know. I'm like 5 years old thinking like, isn't it just a funny name for something? So the question is, what do I want? Because I know I definitely want something with it. So I've got to think about the fact that there's going to be a ruffle down there. So don't want anything like quite like that actually. It's so random with the scraps, you know, we've got a chicken, a fence and a bit of lavender. There's something about it though that I really like, and I don't know if that's just me being in a bit of a batty mood. There's just something about it that works for me. I don't know. I'll probably change my mind tomorrow, but in the moment, as I said, I'll probably put the ruffle on and then decide properly, you know, is it finished? But yeah, there's just something about that. I could do like it. I just feel like, is it missing a little something? That brings in some of the green, but it's a bit of a bright stamp. So let me reach for the stamps again, because I'm thinking if I've got either a darker green or yeah, that just tones it down a little bit. I know I'm covering up that lavender, but I was partly covering it up anyway. But then I feel if I put that on there, then I feel like it wants something else. Which could be a flower. I'm just thinking I'm kind of creating some kind of like little cluster down here accidentally. So let me see if I've got some kind of a flower. I'm not thinking butterfly. I don't know why, but I'm not. Don't want to put a fox with the chicken for obvious reasons. I want to protect my chicken. But yeah, I'm thinking a flower. So let me just see if I've got something. Okay, so first things first, I do like it just with the label. However, I've decided to add that stamp, and then I've got these primrose flowers. I think these are from the Edith Holden books, and I like that it's bringing out the yellow of the chicken. So I'm essentially creating some kind of like cluster thing down here, really, is what is seeming to be happening right now. But as I said, once I've got the ruffle on the flap of the envelope, which I'll do later because I'll just sew it directly on, I think that will look really nice. It still looks a bit odd to me that there's a bit of a fence up there, but at the same time I like that scrap of paper and I like how that's all looking together. It still seems really balmy to me, so you have to let me know what you think. Am I being balmy that looks good? Because there's something I really like about it. But as I said, I'll get the ruffle on. I'll just sew some fabric down there so it'll be sewn all the way through, and then if I find that it needs something else then I will, but for now I'm happy. as balmy as it might sound. So let's carry on. I'm hoping that the time isn't ticking on too much. Essentially I've got these 2 pockets and these 2 journal cards, so it's really just a case of, you know, finding the things that work with what you're doing, size wise and colours wise and stuff. And yeah, not to overthink it too much, because, you know, with collaging, and I've said it a few times and I'll probably say it a bunch of times more, it comes together if you let it, if you just, you know, keep at it and try things. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I can say about collage, is you've got to give it time to just try different things and different placement of things and what have you, and that will be where it comes together a lot easier, because you won't know what the right thing is, or the thing that you like. There's no right about it, it's just you won't know until you try, you know. So at the moment this is me trying, just to see if this is what I want. Potentially, obviously I do need to cut out the butterfly. So I'll go with that for now, and then what have I got for on there? Ooh, at some point I did pick out this dragonfly, which I don't know. I'm just going to see if this will go on there without cover. Oh, I don't really want to cover up the butterfly, the bunny rabbit. It doesn't have quite the same look to it, does it? But it's only because I quite fancy this dragonfly, I think, for on here somehow. I think just colours wise, I quite like that. So how about the dragonfly? Ooh, okay. And then somewhere a word or a label would go with that. So I'll stick with that for now. This one, what are we going to do? It's too big. So I've got the bunny rabbit, which I don't really want to cover up, and I've got the butterfly and the hat and the boots and the different things, so I don't really want to cover those up. But I do want to cover up where I've torn into the watering can. But I don't know what to cover it with. Oh, could use that on there. I'm going to sew around it. No, I feel like it's still missing something. Where's that butterfly gone? Here. What if because I know I've got the butterfly there, but no. Isn't it funny? You know when it's not the thing that you want, it's like, no, definitely not that. But finding the thing that you do want is the harder part. Got the bird, which I know I'm covering up the bunny. Yes, but I'm covering up the bunny. I think this one is proving tricky simply because the background is quite busy. So in terms of actually putting something with it as a fussy cut is throwing me off quite a bit. So I'm wondering if there's a way to tone the back down a little bit, or use, you know, a big fussy cut, which will essentially hide that background, which seems a shame, but sometimes that's what you've got to do to make what you're doing work. I do quite like that house. I'm just thinking, you know, the house with the garden. I quite fancy that house being a pocket. So let me just see if I were to put something in the pockets. Let's just pretend and say I'm going to have that and just a couple of small note cards. Gosh, I didn't realise how long I've been in here. I had to go charge my phone. So just whilst I was waiting, I did make some decisions, just because, yeah, I think I've been here a little bit longer than planned. But yeah, I did go for the dragonfly and frame for this one. I just added the word adventure. So once I've sewn around it, I think that's going to look lovely. And I did go for that flower sentiment for this one. I think I'm going to do a stamping on the file folder part, which I'm going to do for the other one as well. So let me just show you what I've decided. So yeah, sorry I had to make those decisions off screen, but as I said, I was just waiting for my phone to charge, and then and then sort of I just kind of clicked. Well, that means I've been in here a little bit of a time. So I've got a label and a butterfly, so nothing fancy for this one. But I hope that you have got some inspiration from today. You know, I'm quite pleased with myself for how quickly I seemed to get through those scraps at the beginning. So again, I've gone with a muted butterfly and stamp just because the background was quite busy as is, so I think that's going to be right. And then I'm going to do a stamp across the tab part, which I'll do in a second. And then this one, I was umming and ahhing about what to have, and there was a few things that I liked. I did like that house, but it wasn't singing to me. So in the end, I've decided to almost completely cover the background with a bit of music sheet. So that's about there. And then I just went through my bits and bobs that I use for collaging. I found this airmail ticket, which I just felt would just help keep the whole project more neutral. And I decided to pair it with a bird, and I bet some of you are guessing why. Yes, it is because the thing says airmail. Things like that just make me giggle, so I couldn't resist. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna have the bird about there-ish. I think I've gone a little bit high with that ticket compared to where I had it before, because now I feel like I need to add something else, whereas before it looked finished. I always find that when I go to glue something down, I always glue it in the wrong place. It's no big deal though, is it? Just to find something. So I do like to put, you know, tickets and frames behind things. I just feel like it helps them stand off the page. But now I feel like it wants something, so I am gonna sew around the whole thing like I usually do. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know, maybe it is fine as is. I'll add the label. There we go. It's already inked as well. Clearly tried that a few times today. I know it's a blank label, despite what I said earlier. Sometimes blank labels are fine. Where did I have that? Was it more over? Come on, glue. I think I just had it more over. It just looked a little bit close to the bird where I had it before. So I don't mind things looking a little bit inked. I think I've got ink all over my fingers. Yeah, and then maybe I could put, not this one, but maybe I could put some kind of stamp with it. I don't know why I keep wanting to add stamps to everything today. I'm just really liking how they're looking, to be honest. So either that purple one, or I am going to, you guessed it, see if I've got a more neutral one. Ideally not a bloke's head though. I've got this dark green one. Sorry, I've got really gluey fingers today. I'm liking the purple with the brown frame actually, surprisingly. Just trying to decide where to put it. Yeah. Again, I just feel like I'm being a little bit unusual with my choices today. But to be honest, I think that's what scrap busting does to me. It makes me do things differently because of the way that the scraps are. You know, if you're going to put scraps in an interesting way or different from what you might usually, then it can throw off your decorating, but not in a bad way, just in a you might have to think differently way. It's really quite interesting, I think. Actually, I find it very interesting. So I'm gonna steal this flower because I'm just thinking, again, a little bit of a balmy decision, but what do we think to there just being randomly a flower with that? Just feel like I want to bring the bird into that collage just a bit more. Yeah, let's do it. I'm just going to ink this up so it's not quite as bright. Yeah, as I said, it just makes you think differently, which I do find really interesting because it's just, all of it's just really interesting, I think. It's probably why I love my job so much. So I was just moving that over because I want it with the bird, so the bird now feels like it's part of that cluster collage. And yeah, just completely unusual decisions, but as I said, once it's sewn around, I could even add an eyelet and a bow or something if I feel like it needs it. But yeah, so that was that one. So the last thing that I'm going to do today, and then I promise I will let you go. So if you have stuck around to the end, thank you. But I hope you've gotten something out of today. So I'm going to, I've got to find my Tim Holtz stamps. Okay, I'm all set. So I've got these stamps from Tim Holtz. They're like botanical type stamps. And I've got Saddle Brown Stays On. And I'm going to stamp the word filed. If I could get the ink on the stamp. Let me just try that. Yeah. I'm going to put this on the tab. Just up here. So sorry if you can see the top of my head. There we are. Simple, simple. Hopefully you can see that okay. And then for this one, I'll do something slightly differently. So I need something short. I'm going to go with this big number. Is that too big? No, maybe too big. What should I go for? Is that specimen number? Will that fit? Yeah, that'll just about fit. Oops. Got it upside down. Oh gosh, my brain's gone to mush. I think I've been here maybe an hour and a half by now. Don't worry. I'm sure the video won't be that long. That's it. I know you can't see the whole of that number because I have got a bit of a pattern on there, but I quite like that. So right, let me just get myself tidied up, and then I know I need a reminder about what we've made today, so I'll come back and show you, remind you what we've done. Here we are then. Here are all the pieces so far. Yeah, I'm really happy with what I've got done today. I think by just going for it with the scraps and using up as much as I could, and then coming, doing it sort of conveyor belt style, scrap busting, then the decorating, I think has paid off really, really well with these. So I have got 2 belly bands / side tucks. Obviously they're only small, so you won't fit a huge amount in, but they're nice. With these, we didn't get a chance to decorate these, but to be honest, I probably wouldn't have much on them. Maybe just like a label, maybe a butterfly, but that's kind of it. We've got this cute little tag. So I've just put an eyelet in that, and then eventually that will have some kind of like bow or something. And this one, remember I said that I was going to do a little bit of stenciling in the background. I think I will still do that. My chicken pocket. So I do need to do the gluing still, but like the proper gluing I mean, but that's going to open at the side there. And this, I'll just sew a ruffle straight onto that, which I'll do tomorrow myself. Book page pocket, all decorated up. Yeah, I love how all the purple and green is looking together on that one. The 2 file folder pockets, so as I said, I will keep these individual, separate from each other, but you could just as easily do some kind of like fun stacked pocket thing with those. And then we've got the two journal cards, which I think paid off really nicely as well. Again, because I was just using the scraps without any real thought about it, I just wanted them used, so that's paid off quite nicely. And then we did do the notebook covers, so I've just sat and cut them out. I need to do the insides and obviously bind the pages in, but I just wanted to show you really simply with these. All I'm planning on doing is just having a label, one of my labels, just on the front like that, with just 3 whole pamphlet stitch, probably some tea-dyed pages sewn into them. And then those are going to be the notebooks that are going to go inside my project, which, if you would like a sneak peek, is something that I sat and folded a long time ago. I want to say at least 2 years ago. I have made a project similar to this before, so I'm basically going to use this base to make some kind of, file folder journal with the 2 notebooks. So stay tuned for that. Essentially, yeah, we're going to get that project done. So that one, I was following a tutorial, so when we come to do that in the next video, I will link the tutorial out to you, because as you can see by my multiple score marks on this, I did not do a very good job of following the tutorial, so I never actually did a video on doing the base of this, but I will link out to the original thing. And I did do a project using the other base that I made. I make 2 bases at a time usually when I'm doing something like that. So But the main thing is we've got the ephemera done. I'll map some pages in that, and then that will be a fun folio journal. So I don't know why I'm getting ahead of myself. Wait for the video. It will all make sense then. But thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed my scrap busting. I'm really, really happy with the pieces that have come out of today. So I hope you've gotten something out of watching. Thanks so much then. We'll speak very soon. Bye bye for now.